How's it going? David from Comic Book Investments. So in this video, we're going to look at 5 keys that are heating up, going up in price. Some of them hitting all-time records, some of them just going up, some of them just kind of going up for a little bit, but they'll probably go down soon. We'll dive into the numbers. We'll talk about the books, where they're going, where I think they're going, things like that. Before I do, we are running our 4th auction. This is our fall auction. It's on our website, collectorscomics.com. We have over 1,200 graded comic books, along with some ungraded comic books, if you're into that stuff as well. We got stuff like this Hulk 181 and an 8.5. We have 3 Hulk 181s in this auction. We got even a Journey to Mystery 83 First Thor. This is a 5.0. This is a really good grade for this book. And yeah, tons of stuff on there. Go check it out. We also got an original cover by John Romita. Yes, John Romita, not John Romita Jr., John Romita. It's actually a prelim cover to Spider-Man Magazine #1. It's pretty cool. Basically, he drew up a bunch of mock-ups. This was one that he drew, and it kind of resembles the new cover, but not so much. He redid it later, but this is a prelim by John Romita, original art. Go check it out. Just look. Once again, collectorscomics.com. It would be awesome if you could bid. Tell your friends and family. Everyone's into comic books. All right, let's jump into the numbers. Okay, first up we got is Batman #7. Yes, old Golden Age comic book. A 2.5 went from 1,083 back in May to 2,700. That is up 149%. A 3.0 is up 32% from 2,350 to 3,100. And a 5.5 is up 35% from 2,600 back in July, now selling for a little over 3,500. As you can see, it's just steadily going up and a little tick up at the back end. But that's an all-time record for this book in this grade. Pretty much all of them across the board. Now, a lot of people think like, oh, recession's here, comic books going down, things like that. The ones that go down are the ones that, sad to say it, mostly moderns, or newer books, even, copper and bronze and stuff like that, because they just had technically these books had a really high print run back in the day too, but most of them are all destroyed. So supply and demand, there's still demand for these books, but when it comes to more modern books, there's just so much supply, so much. So old Golden Age rare books will always go up in value a lot, hold their value too better than, say, a newer book. Next, we got Invaders #8. This is the first appearance of Union Jack. A 9.0 is up 18% from 127 to 150. A 9.4 is up 237% from selling $59 last year to $199. A 9.8 is up 13% from just recently selling for $5.99, now selling for $6.75. This is basically like the British version of Captain America, kind of. There's Captain Britain, and then there's Union Jack, kind of similar. This character doesn't really go much anywhere. It's still like, Bronze Age Invaders. Kind of like, if you look at the graph, you can see it's just steadily going up. It didn't really get a boom from the comic boom era, things like that. But it's just been steadily going up because, if you want to collect like Invaders, getting a 9.8 is not that common. Next up, we got Man-Thing #1. A 9.2 is up 74% from 288 to 500. A 9.4 is up 20% from 520 to 625. And a 9.6 is up 20% from $1,000, now selling for $1,200. Just straight up. This is the second appearance of Howard the Duck. I love this cover personally. I think it's a fantastic cover. I don't know what it is about like swamp monsters. And like if they're done right, drawn right, like so. I like Swamp Thing's first cover. I like Man-Thing's first cover. This one, he actually appeared in Fear 10, but that's not his first appearance. His first appearance in kind of like a comic book. He was in a magazine, Savage Tales #1. I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head, and I think that's what it is. That was more of a magazine that he appeared in black and white, but his first comic was from Fear 10. But this is the second appearance of Howard the Duck. It's not a super early appearance of Man-Thing. He appeared in other things much more through the Fear run. But again, this is popular because he came out on that Werewolf by Night or whatever it's called, TV movie that was on Disney Plus. I like this character on it personally, but that's why this is kind of popping off. Other than that, I think long term for this book, I still think it's good, even despite that it's had a recent bump here. All right, next we got Swamp Thing #1. Yes, I did this on purpose. Swamp Thing #1. 8.0 is up 25% from 256 to 319. A 9.2 is up 24% from 455 to 565. And a 9.4 is up 51% from 660 to now selling about $1,000. Just look at that graph, steadily going up this whole time. I love this cover too. This is Bernie Wright's cover. The other one was like a Frank Brunner cover, I believe. Hopefully I didn't get it wrong. Or it might have been Mike Plug, but I think it's Frank Brunner. Anyways, I love this cover too. I love both these covers. I probably like the Swamp Thing #1 cover much more, but this is technically the second appearance of Swamp Thing, first appearance in the new Swamp Thing. The Swamp Thing in House of Secrets 92, secondly his first appearance, but that is not the same Swamp Thing as here. Not the same person, basically. But yes, this book, if you're just looking at it, steadily going up. Like no jump up through a comic book, didn't go like this, like that. That's pretty much across the board on these grades. I still think this is a good book to get long term. Yeah, you might want to get a decent grade of it as well. But yeah. All right, next we got Detective 241. A 3.0 is up 43% from 350 to 500. A 4.0 is up 89% from 490 to 927. And a 6.0 is up 23% from 1100 selling last year. Now it's selling for 1350. That's an all-time record for this book. This is not really a key as in the first appearance of anyone or origin story or an artist starting, a writer starting, none of that stuff. This is the first appearance of the crazy color Batman costumes. But people love this book. Why? Not really sure why. It was never really that expensive back when I started doing this. It was never a key or anything. No one really cared. It's just over time kind of grew this little cult following. Also, this book is kind of rare. People don't realize how rare some books are actually. I'm not saying this is like super rare or anything like that. But when you get back to these like older Silver Age, you realize it's like, it's kind of hard to come by these books. And so that plays into the mystique of a certain book. So if all of a sudden, for whatever reason, people want these crazy costume-colored bat capes and cowls, they're like, okay, it's kind of cool. And they go to look for it and like, oh, I can't get one. And so that kind of builds up the mystique more because it's like if you wanted to get a Hulk 181, go on eBay, tons of them. If you want to get this book, there's not really that many available, let alone, like for sale. Let alone in a decent grade either. Pick out any modern book, copper book, Bronze Age book. You can find every single one of those in a million different grades from top to bottom, all the way to 0.5, all the way to 9.8. But this one, it's like you're not going to find that many. There's going to be maybe a handful for sale. So that plays into why this book goes up because once again, supply and demand. For some reason, this gets like this cult following going. I'm not really sure why. And all of a sudden people start gravitating this book, but then they're like, oh, I can't find it. So then they really want it even more. You want what you can't have. And so therefore it just kind of just kept on going up and up and up. And that's why this book sold for $13.50 in a 6.0. It was not really, back in the day, it looked like it was selling for, back in 2003, it was like a couple bucks. So it's just like So crazy stuff. That'll be it. Thanks again for this. Go and check out my auction, collectorscomics.com. This is the fourth one. We don't have any seller fees, any buyer's premium. It is 100% free. None of that. All of that, 100% free. All you have to do is look and bid. Have a great weekend.